Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Anton. Thank you so much for that and for your generosity. I really appreciate it. If anyone out there wants to request a topic, a tier list, a ranking, a reaction, commentary, review, re-review, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, which is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under most of these videos. Like I said, PayPal is usually the best bet. Now, the Chronicles of Riddick from 2004, which is funny because I have the unrated DVD, but I actually wanted to check out again the theatrical cut because I had not seen that in the longest of time, and that's the cut that was released to the public to hopefully garner enough box office to create more of a full-fledged franchise. Didn't really work out. Yes, there was one more film that came out. Yes, there's talks of another one. But it definitely didn't work out the way they wanted to. Not for Universal, not for Vin Diesel, not for the writer-director David Twohy, and etc. Now, before I get to this, bear with me. I enjoy the first film, Pitch Black. I remember when that came out, on Sci-Fi Channel, there was a special about the making of Pitch Black. And I saw that, saw the trailer, and went, this looks really cool. This looks really neat. And I thought it was a nice surprise. I liked the look design of the creatures. I thought the script had some really clever ideas, as in you didn't quite know who to trust. It felt more of a gritty sci-fi horror film. And Vin Diesel, this is a time I think Vin Diesel did a great job. I truly do. Yeah, I know it's easy to make fun of the guy nowadays, but I thought he had the right voice, the right mannerisms. I bought him as a badass. Yeah, this anti-hero. He's a bad guy, but he has like a slim bit of code, or however you want to put it. It made him an interesting character, and that's really all you needed to know about the character. In a way, it was kind of like Snape Plissken. He's a badass, deep voice, but not ridiculous sounding, at least to me. And again, he's an anti-hero, like his Escape from New York, where there's a poor woman being assaulted, but Snape Plissken doesn't do anything, because that's not what his job's there for. But at the same time, you see that there's a little bit of slim code to the guy. And Pitch Black, like I said, was a nice surprise. Now, after that, Vin Diesel was in the Fast and the Furious, fairly successful. Triple X, another film I enjoy. I don't mind the first Fast and Furious, it's grown on me. But I do like Triple X. That came out, that was a box office hit. So, okay, this guy seems like an up-and-coming action star. So Universal said, well, wait a minute. There's this film, Pitch Black. Let's get him to play this character again and make it a... Okay, you want to make it a big-budget space fantasy movie? Alright. Hopefully this will be a new franchise that will make millions and millions of dollars, multiple sequels, merchandise, all sorts of stuff. Again, that did not come to be, because this film came out and it bombed badly. For what I remember, it cost over $100 million and made like a little over $50 million in the US. Maybe it made some change overseas. But the next time you would see this guy, either it was that little anime thing, Dark Fury, the video games, which I'll get to those in a minute, or many years later, you had that film Riddick. Was it 2013? Again, this was 2004. Now, before I get to the film itself, why, but it's still a little bit in part, Why did this film not do well? Number one, I think Universal and Vin Diesel, like, these guys did not realize that Pitch Black, while I liked the film, and maybe some of you don't, some of you do like the film, it still had this, at best, a cult level status, even to this day. You know, Pitch Black, I enjoy the film, but it's not talked about like Alien, The Terminator, or any of the sort. It's still a cult film. And they should have looked at their history, because, yes, there are... There's always fucking exceptions to the rule. Always. But many times when you make a sequel to a cult film and you try to be bigger, you fall on your face. Even if the movie's good. Army of Darkness. Think about it. Also with Universal. So Universal should have known better. You had cult films, really good films like Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Make it more of a different shift, different tone compared to the first two. Try to be a bigger, broader film. It didn't work. Army of Darkness, very fun film. Really enjoy it. It did not do well. Because the general public, they don't know what to make of the film. And then the people who liked those earlier films, maybe not nowadays, but maybe initially they went, well, it's not even called Evil Dead, is that? And it's, you know, where's the blood? Where's the gore? Where's people, you know, being split in half or something, you know? Skeletons? It was Ray Harryhausen? Maybe they didn't even know what to make of it at first either. And then the ones that did get it was a small percentage. Or whether you like or dislike the film, Steve from LA. Steve from New York was a cult film. And Steve from LA, they tried to be a bigger budget film. They thought it was going to have a mass appeal. But either the general public did not know who Steve Plissken was. They did not know what the original film was. And then the people who did know, they went, isn't it just a remake of the first film? And I don't know about this. Or they did go see it, but it was not nearly enough to recover its budget and be a profit. That's the thing, like, I can understand maybe them thinking, well, yeah, Steve Plissken. People, not everybody knows Steve Plissken. And Riddick might not be a character. It might be a character people know, but it doesn't mean the mass public are consuming in such a huge abundance to really get the masses into the theaters. Proven when they tried to do it again in 2013 and it didn't do that well. So that's why I find it weird that they want to make a fourth film. And like then, I don't think there'll be a small smattering of people that will care, but not. I don't know why you expect all of a sudden to have like this bona fide huge hit when your last two ventures with this character didn't amount to it. Which honestly, after Pitch Black, the best incarnations are the video games. Watch Escape from Butcher Blade. The fuck is that? Escape from Butcher Bay video game playthrough. Go find it online on YouTube. Escape from Butcher Bay, which is a prequel to Pitch Black, because you have Cole Hauser coming back, and it's a Vin Diesel's character Riddick being in the prison, escaping from it, and I'm like, man, I wish they had done this movie. Even if you want to make a sequel and say you don't have Cole Hauser, but you have Nick Chinland who's in this one, or another actor, whether it be Michael Rooker as a bounty hunter, which actually he's a voice in the video game, or Ron Perlman. You could have made a sequel and make it this kick-ass prison escape movie, which would have had the smaller scale of Pitch Black, but at the same time wouldn't be a fucking beat for beat, almost beat for beat remake like the Riddick movie. that was the way to do it. I find it sad that that video game was a better portrayal of Riddick continuation, even though it's a prequel, than the 2013 Riddick film, or sadly this film. Now, I know it's 10 minutes in. When I first saw this, I didn't mind it as a time waster, but at the same time, there was this sinking feeling of disappointment. And, people always say, well, Matt, you saw the theatrical cut. I've seen the director's cut as well. All that's added in is the teeniest amount of violence. I mean, teeny. And the ending is a little bit different as to who says what. There's the line, you keep what you kill, and the director's cut, Vin Diesel says it. And the theatrical cut, I think Karl Urban's character says it. In the theatrical cut, you have the full, like, Conan at the throne, pull back, the showcase what's going on. And also, in the director's cut, it's more added in of this woman that keeps talking to Riddick. You're a Furian, use your superpowers. Which I fucking hated that shit. And watching it again, I'm not much a fan of this movie. As in, it doesn't make me angry, rant-filled. And I can kind of appreciate what they were trying to do. Which is why people get mad at me. I give it more credit than the 2013 film, because this, I can appreciate them reaching for the sky. It just, they didn't really set foot. And then you go, you know what, maybe that wasn't the right decision in the first place. But I can understand what they were going for. I can appreciate some of the set design, maybe some of the costume work, that its attempt at world building, its attempt at exploring its mythology. But then you kind of went, I don't know if Riddick really needed this at the same time. Or if it did, either try to put too much into one movie. So I'll say that it wasn't boring. But it's like try to put too much into one movie, and then it sets it up for sequels, which ultimately there was one, but it didn't really follow through what this film was building up to. So it kind of feels, when you watch the ending, well, this is unimportant because that part doesn't get resolved, unless they do a fourth one, and it does. And someone said it best, I forget who said it. It's like if the sequel to Alien wasn't Aliens, but if it was Star Wars. Well, imagine Ellen Ripley, after Alien, she gets in the middle of a Star Wars type of scenario. But it's still Ellen Ripley. And you would go, okay, I mean, I like the character, but I'm not sure if this is really what I wanted. I think for a lot of people that really wasn't what they wanted either. But I can understand people enjoying its difference, and like I said, not being a carbon copy, which I give more respect to that than Riddick 2013, which is easily my least favorite of these three films, because that literally was, he's on a planet, there's some people there, including guys that, literally a guy, I think that's related to Cole Hauser's character, I believe. Including a female, which was like Rhoda Mitchell in the first. Here, it's I forget her name, the lady from Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. And then a huge middle section where Riddick's not even in the fucking movie that's called Riddick. So boring as shit. And then a third act that's just a complete lackluster ripoff of Pitch Black, only the monsters don't look as cool. The CGI doesn't look that impressive. And Riddick doesn't seem to do much in kicking monster ass. It felt like he kicked more monster ass in Pitch Black when I had to fracture the budget. So I fucking hate Riddick from 2013. That was even more disappointing. I'm like, just make a fucking movie version of Escape from Butcher Bay. Make that live action. I would have liked that more. But anyway. Or the sequel. There's another video game. Athena. I forget the full... Assault on Athena or something. I forget the title. I've seen playthroughs of them a long time ago. I have the games. I would like to play them one day. I just need to get time. I'll show the games. I know this is going to be a long video, but... fuck it. It's for Anson. Yeah, here it is. It has the two games. It says Assault on Dark Athena, but it does have the first game on it as well. Kind of like I get a bonus, the way they call it. So, I wish these would get PS4 versions, though. But I do have the PS3 version. So anyway. But yeah, it was this tonal shift where, like I said, imagine the sequel, you didn't get Aliens, you got Star Wars. Now, Aliens is different from Alien, but it still felt that gritty, the characters, little still horror element. It still felt in its wheelhouse, so to speak. And while I do like Vin Diesel, I don't hate... Here's the thing, I don't hate the guy. Like, I know it may seem like I do. It's just for the past 10 years, he's done a lot of either bad choices in terms of, if it's not Fast and Furious, it didn't work. Because Last Witch Hunter, lackluster. Bloodshot, completely generic. Just go watch Universal Soldier, you want to see that done better, in my opinion. I know it's based on a comic book, but Bloodshot just generic. Forgettable. The past couple Fast and Furious films have been really lame. Especially 9 and 10. Wasn't much a fan of 7. Triple X returns in the cage. I liked the first film, and I remember for years going, man, I wish we could see a sequel with Vin Diesel, but then he comes back. He doesn't really do a whole lot, and then tries to be a wannabe Fast and Furious, where now there's a whole other crew. When part of the point of Triple X was to be cool and the anti-James Bond, but then it's like, we gotta throw Donnie in there and these other people in there, and wasn't Tony Jaa in the movie or something? Maybe that was a different movie. I can't remember. I think Tony Jaa was in it. I think. That's how much I remember the movie. I'm like, the last film I can remember liking him in was Find Me Guilty, which was a pretty good drama. And then Riddick was disappointing as hell, so... Just... I don't know if like he puts creative control and maybe he's the guy who should not have creative control. But considering that so many people that worked with him hate his ass. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. The director, Justin Lin, left Fast 10 because... And he co-wrote the damn movie. He was directing it and he left it because Vin Diesel was pissing him off. So apparently Vin... You should take a piece of humble pie and eat it. So I know I'm like 18 minutes and I haven't gone to the damn movie. But I just wanted to explain, I think that's why it failed. It was a sequel to a cult film, and either people didn't know what the fuck Riddick was, or not enough people, especially at that time, had not seen the first Pitch Black movie, or the ones that did, either they didn't like the film. So let's say people who actually saw the film. Not every single person liked the film. So now that's smaller. Now the people who do like it, they go, what the fuck? The first was like Alien, now this is like Star Wars. That's not really what I wanted. So then those people didn't go. And then people's like, what the fuck is this? Or they thought, well, it looked like kind of a generic space fantasy movie. Like Dune or... I mean, it's better than Jupiter Ascending and some of these other fucking films, I'll say that, but just... You watch it and... I know this is the unrated cut, but I've seen this and it still feels PG-13. That's another thing. Sometimes I can watch a film and still enjoy it Live Free or Die Hard came out PG-13 theatrical. I still enjoyed the film for various reasons. So it's not always a death knell, but it could be a sticking point. This was another one of those choices that just they made PG-13 because they had a bigger budget, but it didn't help it matters anyway. So the story is you have these necromanders, religious conversions, either convert to our religion or we kill your sorry ass. The bad guys, you have Colm Feore as Lord Marshal. Not a bad actor. I remember him from Storm of the Century, the Stephen King miniseries, among other stuff. He's been in a few other films as well. Not a bad actor. Didn't do too bad of a job. Karl Urban, who will later be Dredd, the Judge Dredd. He plays a guy that wants the throne, but doesn't quite get it yet. He's hooked up with Thandie Newton, where they hopefully one day will fuck over the Lord Marshal. Riddick is on the run. These bounty hunters, including Nick Chinland, who I remember from Con Air. He's the one that Nick Cage tells, "Put the bunny back in the box." And Nick Chinland is the one Nick Cage fights with that. He's chasing Riddick through the ice. Now, at times, you get a bit of Vin Diesel's attitude as Riddick, which is nice to see, because I do like that character. I do like the look with the eyes, be able to see in the dark. I don't think that was used as much as it could have. I like to say the video game Butcher Bay, which it was. And what's funny, like, I rewatched like the first 10 minutes of Butcher Bay video game before I did this, and there were better lines in that game. Like when he gets to the prison and the warden is like, "I see you, Riddick. You're trying to get under my skin." And Riddick goes, "Yeah, it would help if I had something sharp." They get literally under his skin. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm liking this more. But he gets the shift from Nick Chinland. He's wondering who put the bounty on his head. Goes back to this planet where there's Chief David from Pitch Black, the Holy Man. Not the Eddie Murphy Holy Man, but better Holy Man. He got Riddick's attention because there's this war going on. These bad guys and necromanders. This elemental race led by Judi Dench wants to ask about his race, his ancestry of being a Furian. And you're the last of your kind. Vin Diesel wants no part of it, but all of a sudden he's chucked into it. Because the bad guys are coming down. They'll either kill you or convert you and turn into pretty much their fucking zombies, however you want to put them. And like, I'm watching this film again, I'm going, this just feels generic. Watch it today. Where it's, some people label it like Conan in space. I wish it was that. But the fight scenes leave little to no impact. I don't know if just David Twohy's not used to doing those type of stuff. Because I think of his career, he did The Arrival. He did, which I liked, with Charlie Sheen. He did Below. Pretty good haunted house submarine movie. Like, it's a submarine, but there's, like, ghost story. Below is a pretty underrated film, in my opinion. Like, maybe, like, sci-fi or sci-fi horror is his realm. Not really action. And it was more than serviceable in Pitch Black, but here, the fight scenes, either he's fighting in this room where you might as well be careful to not have epilepsy, because his flashing lights, you can't see anything, because PG-13, even the extended cut, is still mostly PG-13. Aside for, count on one hand. Or later on, there's a battle where with these necromongers where I swear the sound effects cut off and it's just music and people fighting. You just hear the music trying to be this big, broad space opera. And the fight scenes just leave a lot to be desired, especially when you look at action scenes today. Or Vin Diesel's character can literally take a person and throw them with one arm. Like, literally one arm throw, and people are flying over here and there. I'm like, he's supposed to be a badass, not fucking Superman. Or saying lines like, been a long time since I smelled beautiful. What the fuck is that? And I hated that they try to put in... I get that they're trying to do this world building. I get that they're trying to expand on the story, and a lot of people find that's a positive, and sometimes they can be a positive. I don't want to see Snake Plissken's story expanded on. I don't want to know what he is as a kid, what he eats for breakfast. No, sometimes there's characters like that, or in this case Riddick, that the mystery part keeps them interesting. The more you explain about them, the least interesting it gets, in my opinion. The sense of mystery of... And also that he was just this hardened, badass criminal made him more interesting than it's the prophecy, and he's the last of his dying race. What is he? I guess he is Superman. The last of his race. Maybe that that's the fucking Krypton. It's like, no, man, you're making it less interesting. At least to me, it's like you do try to explain Michael Myers, but in my opinion, some things are more interesting when explained, some are not. Michael Myers, it was less interesting. It's all... What about this? What about this, Matt? There are exceptions to everything. Like, people don't know this. If you don't go through everything, you gotta go everything on its own individual status. In this case, no, I don't think Riddick, it's having his origin explained, and then the director's got him and have a fucking superpower to do super science, blue flame so people fly back. I guess he gets super pissed off and super saiyan. Like, I don't need that shit. I don't need to give him superpowers. I don't need him to be able to throw people with a fucking arm or fart through glass with when the thumb takes it out of his ass, or where the fuck else would be if they did more of these high budget sequels. I don't need that, man. Some of the better elements is, for example, when he's messing with the mercenaries. Your new crew, yours, seems skittish. Or they get to the planet Crematoria. What a name. And you would say the most badass thing he does in the movie, which sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud now, is he kills someone with a teacup. Right into the guy's chest, turns it, pulls it out. Although, again, even the director said you don't see a whole lot to it. But, I mean, what made Riddick work was that he was just this regular guy, but he was a hardened badass that, got his eyes in prison for with payment of cigarettes. And now he's a badass because he was born that way, because he's from a race of the Furians. Which I do find ironic that, Furians, which is close to Furious, and then his most popular franchise is Fast and the Furious. So, I'm not saying that was done on purpose, I'm just saying it's, a bit of irony to that. And the effects of 2004, maybe they looked fine back then, they don't look that great nowadays. I mean, you could argue the same thing with Pitch Black, but that idea of more leeway because it had less of a budget to work with, and it knew it had a low budget, so it tried to do what it could, showing the dark, try to be more suspenseful. I was thinking of the bit with the guy who drinks the thing, spits the fire out, and you see all those creatures around him, and it goes quick enough. So just a, ooh, shit, he's fucked reaction, instead of sitting on there for a good 20 seconds to look at, the effects don't look best. I thought Pitch Black handled that the right way, for the most part. And I said, I don't want to hear about his backstory. I don't think his story needed to be expanded. Some may say that makes him more interesting. To me, that makes him less interesting. And like I said, the fight scenes, they leave a bit to be desired when you compare it to other big-budget like sci-fi movies. Hell, you want to talk about sci-fi movie? The Fifth Element. It's not wall-to-wall action, but I still really enjoy that shootout where Bruce Willis' character is jumping up, shoots the alien in the head. Anyone else want to negotiate? I still enjoy that taxi cab car chase through that futuristic New York. But that movie is more about sci-fi, and those visuals look pretty damn good at today's age, and that was 97. Well, this is 2004, so... Anyway. So you have a little prison section. You have this whole bit with the, I guess, the kid in Pitch Black, Jack. Which that was one of the surprises. You think it's a boy, but you realize it's a girl. And that was the thing about the first Pitch Black. They try to have these swerves that seem a bit more clever writing, creative writing, which I didn't feel as much in this. It's like I have a bigger budget, so I don't have to be as creative. I thought that was a mistake. Maybe it just tried to do too much. And the Jack stuff, okay, she felt abandoned by Riddick. I'm like, boo fucking who? I mean, he even explains himself, he was a criminal. What the fuck are we supposed to do? Change your fucking diapers? Yeah, these people are chasing me and going to shoot my fucking face off. Sure, let me stand next to you. Maybe I'll pull you in front so you can take the hit instead. I really did not like her character. She just seemed bitchy. Like I said, watch this again. Like, this did not hold up. Some films hold up better with age and get better. Some don't. This did not. Sad to say. It really didn't. Because I have not seen this film probably... has to be at least 10 years. Like I said, I like some of the costume work on the Necromonders. I do like Vin Diesel's performance. I don't think it's a bad performance. I like seeing the character. I think that goes a long way where I do like the character. So that does help a lot. I like Nick Chinland. I like his bounty hunter character, who keeps having these run-ins with Riddick, and he keeps always getting left behind. Like, he's left behind the ice planet. He's left behind in the prison planet. I do like him. It's cool to see Karl Urban in there, but I mean, it's not a character I really give a shit about. I know he's at the very beginning of Riddick, which the whole story about him being teen, the leader, that by the end of this really went nowhere by the next one. So we're Riddick and these inmates escape the prison. They have to outrun the sun on the surface, which I don't know how the fuck that works. How you outrun the sun, but okay. But they're doing it so they don't get burned alive. They fight some Necromonders. And again, maybe because I watched the theatrical cut, so I don't know if this is in the director's... It's been a while since I've seen this in the director's cut. They're having a fight, and then the sound effects drop off, and it's just music as they're fighting. And they're fighting, and it's just... I do remember the director's cut. I think there's a bit where he cuts a guy's head off, and you see the head kind of fall on the ground, but it's not a whole lot of difference from what I remember. Maybe some extra shots, to be fair. But I said, it just, not only not much of brutality, but just not much impact in terms of choreography. And then again, sometimes the director would do like these weird kind of flash things. Like guys walking, and quickly flash close up, then go back to wide shot, close up, wide shot, like these little flutters. I don't know what the director is going for, David Twohy. I really don't. And Riddick gets left, well, depending. In the director's cut, he does a Super Saiyan. They did knock down. In the theatrical cut, him and another guy get shot at. They think he's dead. He's not, of course. And I thought this one bit kind of came out of the blue, where this one guy that's worked with Karl Urban, he stayed behind. You find out that he's a Feorian as well, but he was changed into this. I'm like, if you have this much control, why are you killing yourself? Why don't you go help Riddick more? If you have this much control already to walk into a fucking, I don't know, burn alive, you don't have more control as a Feorian, and I don't know, go out in a blaze of fucking glory, help him or something, but whatever. And then the finale, you think, okay, the finale is going to be this big bad finale. It's pretty anticlimactic. It's Vince sneaking around. He kills 2 guys. He gets in the fight with the Colm Feore, gets his ass kicked. Because the guy can, like, kind of leave his body. Like, his spirit goes here, and then his body will follow through. Or his spirit goes over here, and his body follows. Spoiler alert for a 2004 film. The lady, Jack, she had kind of turned to a necromancer, but she got enough control to stab Colm Feore in the back. He hits her, she flies back, gets impaled. Because he's been wounded, Karl Urban tries to take the kill, because you keep what you kill in this service. He goes, but when he gets to the area, Vin Diesel comes in, gives him a stab in the head. And now, since he's killed the Lord Marshal, now he's the leader of the Necromanders. Almost said Necromorphs. That's a different franchise. And in the theatrical cut, there's this wide shot where the people are bowing to him. And he's sitting on his Conan throne. And Judi Dench is, well, look at that. Wonder what's going to happen next. Well, he's going to go to a planet left behind. Karl Urban fucks off, and we're going to remake Pitch Black, and then he leaves. So, I'm guessing that's why the ending is not so fantastical, because they thought this was going to be a Chronicles of Riddick trilogy of movies, maybe. Maybe at least one more, maybe 2 more. Because I think they wanted this to be a Chronicles of Riddick trilogy, this and 2 more movies. Although that wouldn't be a trilogy, technically 4 movies with Pitch Black. But I guess like a Chronicles of Riddick 2, Chronicles of Riddick 3 type of thing. But that's an issue. When you try to plan shit out, what if it doesn't work out? Then all the shit you planned out didn't matter. So this ending didn't really matter. All this world building really didn't fucking matter in the long run. You should have just done Butcher Bay as a live-action movie. So, that's the thing about this. It was nice to see Steve David in there. It was nice to see Dick Chillen in there. Colm Feore, Karl Urban. I like Vin Diesel's acting. You know, I like the character, although he doesn't feel as badass in this compared to Pitch Black. He feels somewhat neutered because of the PG-13 rating. And I think that the tonal shift into space fantasy was a noble experiment, but a failed experiment. At least to me. And then they went the way too far the other way of the pendulum with Riddick, where cool, it's R-rated, cool, Vin Diesel's Riddick seems a bit more of a badass, at least the way he deals with the mercenaries, and particularly the bit where he hits the machete and it cuts the guy's head, the guy who's the bad guy in Bad Boys 2. Jordi Mala, I believe. I like that part, but it's like I did not want to see a remake of Pitch Black. And I did not want a movie where the good, like, 30-minute middle section has no Riddick in it. Even though it's called Riddick. That's not what I wanted. And again, there's not a section here where there's 30 minutes of no Riddick. So, at the very least, I actually think this pacing is faster compared to that one. And this isn't a remake of Pitch Black, so it's more interesting to watch on that front. Like I said, I can appreciate what he was trying to do, but just maybe if they got a different guy to write and direct it, maybe David Twohy wasn't ready for this big budget style film. Or again, just made Butcher Bay into a movie. Just could have made that into a fucking film. Because that was more in tone with this. And yet it wasn't a carbon copy. And if you're wondering, the features takes you on the tour of the set design, which, I mean, those were fairly well done as well. Virtual guide to the characters. Nick Chilland, his character tombs, I guess footage of him talking to the camera in character. Put this DVD into your Xbox console and play the first level of Escape from Butcher Bay. So this works on an Xbox. I don't have an Xbox, but apparently if you put this on a... See if it says something on here. So yeah, apparently if you put this to an Xbox, you can play the first level of Butcher Bay. Huh. You know, I don't have an Xbox, so I wouldn't do it anyway, but... And there's the Dark Fury one I was talking about, the anime, and of course Pitch Black, which is easily the best one. Fuck, you remember TV Guide? I remember TV Guide. Yeah, Escape from Butcher Bay. I do want to play that game sometime, but... the only I'd be able to record is bootleg style. Bootleg theater. By the way, that's my thoughts. Elongated thoughts of Chronicles of Riddick. It is a disappointing film. It's a film that when I saw it, I'm like, I really like... I think when I first saw this back in the day... I was this much a fan of Vin Diesel. Watch it today. This much a fan of Vin Diesel, as in I don't hate the guy, so he's not off the screen. It's just, with the series of films he's done, it kind of, yep, this is more of his disappointment. He's a lot more misses than hits. Even the hits he does, like, you know, some of the Fast and Furious films, like Fast 5, cool. Triple X, they still like. Pitch Black, find me guilty, but a lot more misses. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.